Hello everyone and welcome. My name is John and this is a pruning video. Now I know that when people are new to the plant journey, and I know this is true for me, the thought of pruning your plants can be really scary. And I'm not talking about removing yellow, dying leaves. I'm talking about removing healthy growth on purpose. So this is a really scary concept for people, especially if you haven't done it before. And there's actually several valid reasons for doing this. So I want to walk you through some of those today, and then you're actually going to see me pruning my plants as we go. So the entire purpose of this video is to give you permission to prune your plants. If there's a specific shape you're looking for or a certain style that you want to make your plant grow into, it's totally okay. There are lots of valid reasons for doing this. Styling your plants is part of the fun. So let's get started. So there's 4 reasons for pruning a plant that we're going to talk about today. So you could prune it for size, you could prune it for appearance, you can prune to promote branching or bushiness, and you can also prune to boost the health of your plant. I know the last one sounds a little contradictory, but we're going to get to that. So first up, we're going to be pruning this beautiful Ficus triangularis variegata here, both for size and for appearance. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so we're primarily pruning this one for size, but there's also some things I want to clean up on this plant as well. So as you can see, and actually let me turn this branch here goes way out to the side. And the problem is that it basically takes up the space of 2 plants on the bench by my bed. It's hard for me to rotate this plant so that it's getting sun evenly, because this is either hitting another plant or it's hitting the window. So that whole side shoot has got to go. Now what you're also going to notice are all of these bare branches all over the place. So ficuses in particular suffer from something called dieback. And this happens for many reasons, but basically the plant has chosen to no longer support those branches. So over time the leaves disappear and they get shriveled up, and there's not really any chance of those growing back. So we're going to prune this one for size, and then we're going to clean all of those dead branches up. Now as a bonus, we're going to get to propagate several different cuttings off of this, so that's going to be cool. But we're going to focus on the pruning for this video. So I've already decided I want to cut back to about here, equal to around the side of the pot. And then that's going to give me a nice, beautiful long cutting to use. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's remove this one. Nice clean chop. So it would be cool to plant this whole thing, but this is too many leaves for this cutting to support. Okay, so here we have a plant that takes up substantially less space. So now let's go in and clean up some of these branches. So some of them, like that, are fully shriveled up, dried up. See, these are just coming off. These are no longer wanted by the plant. Some of them have a little more give. I want some of these to grow, so I'm just going to cut them further down, but still leaving several buds on here. So hopefully these will sprout later on, but if they don't, I'll come back and clean them up in a couple of months. All right, then there's something I can see. So there we go. So now it's sticking out a little bit past the pot, but this is going to give me so much more room. And like I said, so I'm leaving these branches in the hope that these will sprout and like bush out and then fill all this in. But if they don't in a couple of months, by summer or so, 3 months from now, then those are all just going to go, and I'll have just a nice trunk line down here. Okay, so this giant Ficus elastica Tineke, this has been with me for several years. It's one of the first plants I got, and you can see there's lots of healthy growth. It's looking good. Further down, it is bearing the scars of my early mistakes. So a lot of droopy leaves down here, lots of burnt margins on the leaf margins. It's just not looking that good, so I want to just clean that up. This plant has plenty of leaves to support itself. It's not going to miss these, but it's going to give it a nicer look. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and then I have this this plastic garden wrap that I tied. I want to replace that with the garden Velcro, because this just has a nice cleaner look to my eyes. So anytime you're pruning a rubber tree, there's going to have that milky, rubbery sap coming out, so it's pretty messy. It's supposedly toxic, or a lot of people have allergic reactions, so be careful. But let's just go in and start at the bottom. We'll start removing some of these leaves. All right, so how's that looking? Tough call. So I would say that that looks pretty good. There's still some, minor damage and blemishes on some of these leaves, but I don't think I want to take the trunk line any higher right now. So I'm just going to leave it, and I can always come back and remove some more leaves later on. Now you'll see that the stem of the leaf of the petiole, it's kind of hard to get those all the way off, but after like a day or two, those will start to separate on their own, and they'll either fall off after a while, or you can easily knock them off with a finger. Okay, so 9 leaves removed from that guy. Yeah, what do you think? I'll get a before and after on the screen, but I wondered, does that look better to you or worse? Or is it the same? It's certainly going to be easier to water. Okay, so here's this Ficus retusa, Ficus bonsai, and I'm not going to be pruning this for you today, but I wanted to show you just how pruning to promote branching works. So you can see that from this large branch, it was cut back, and then the tree sent out all of these other branches in response. And the reason that worked is because this was a nice, large, healthy branch. The tree had tons of energy to support itself, and so by removing that one large branch, the tree responded by putting out many, many smaller ones. So the key to getting any plant to bush out on you is to make sure it is very healthy before you cut it. So you're going to grow it out to a certain height and then cut it way back, because basically you have a plant whose potential is here. When you cut it back to this size, it's just going to bush out like crazy because it has tons of extra energy to handle that. Now, as you can see, these are also getting nice and leggy here. This went through a move recently. It's been through a lot, so it lost a lot of leaves. So I'm going to now get this to go another foot or so and then cut it back to about the height it is now, and hopefully all of this will start to fill in. But if I were to do that now, maybe I would get 1 or 2 branches, maybe not. If you do this at the wrong time, the tree might decide it doesn't even want to support that branch anymore, and it's going to only focus on this one instead. So you got to make sure it's really healthy, really vigorous. Do this at the time of year when it is growing its fastest. Okay, so next up we have this Calathea rotundifolia, and it is struggling. And I'm not sure why it's struggling, because I had it with all my Calatheas and they were all doing fantastic. And then all of a sudden this one just started having trouble. So I still don't really know what's going on, but it's not healthy enough for me to want to repot it right now. So what's happening is that this plant, as you can see, the leaves are very faded, there's blemishes, it's not perking up that much at night. It is having trouble supporting itself. So the roots aren't super healthy probably, and they're not able to maintain all of this beautiful foliage. So I'm just gonna come in and help the little homie out by removing some of these leaves. So you would think that it needs these leaves because that's how the plant uses sunlight to create food, but it's actually going to have a much easier time supporting itself with fewer leaves. Now, of course, this isn't guaranteed to work, so it's possible this could be the final death blow, but I do believe that this is what this plant needs at this point. Okay, so we removed 3 out of 8 leaves. Let's try that. Let me see what happens. Kind of want to remove this one too. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. All right, so here's the after. So we'll do a direct comparison. What do you think? Okay, so what do you think? Before and after? Does it look better? A little cleaner? This looks way cleaner to me, tidier. This, actually, I really like. I've been thinking about doing that. I've been thinking about doing all of this for a while, and hopefully that was enough to help this guy along so that it doesn't have to work so hard supporting all of these large leaves. So I really just hope this helps you, helps give you permission to prune your plants if you want to. It's up to you. It's part of growing. It's part of your style. You can change the way the plants look to fit your space or to fit your aesthetic. And sometimes it can be just a thing to help out a struggling plant. So if you enjoyed the video, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up. If you hate pruning and you think it's wrong, give me a thumbs down. Let me know. And I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Have you ever pruned your plants? Have you removed any healthy growth on purpose? Is this something that you've been wanting to do? Are you afraid to do it? I'd love to hear all about your thoughts on pruning, but for now, that's gonna do it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. All right, peace.